Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, we are going to see what are the other activities that we have as a part of web UI automation that we can use. Okay, so first of all, let me introduce type into activity to you. So in this type into activity, what actually this does, what is the functionality of this, we will see, and later we'll explore more about the properties. Okay, so first to do that, we all know that we have to indicate the element on the screen. So for that, I am going to use this particular text box. Okay. So I'm indicating this text box. So let me go to the UI Explorer and edit the selector. So it's input and it is text. So you have to make sure every time whenever you take the selector or you indicate the element, you have to make sure that it doesn't have any dynamic values in the selector. So what I mean by dynamic values in the sense, let me show you over here. So let's say if this class is there, maybe this class value would be varying, right? Here it shows 3704. Maybe next time when I excuse me, when I refresh the page, maybe this value would be changing, or something of that sort. And at any cost, you should not take CSS selector. That is not a good practice to select CSS selector as an attribute, because CSS selector, if you observe, it's kind of a tree, right? It's kind of a tree linking to the actual element. So if let's say if a other element gets added, or if something changes in the web application, the structure of this gets changed. So this is more volatile element, so you should not consider CSS selector. I will make a separate video on how to stabilize the selector as well, but for now in this video I'm just giving a gist of it. Okay, so let's take off this element as well. In that video, I'll explain you clearly what to select and what not to select to make the stable selectors. Okay, so I'm taking the AA name. Okay, and input tag, I don't want class in this, so I'm just removing them off directly from here. So once after that is done, I'm just validating and highlighting. This is the rule, like you have to always validate and highlight to make sure that the selector that you are taking is stable. Okay, and the selector is here, say okay. And what I'm going to do with this type into, so the name itself suggests, right, we have to type the text into that particular selector. Okay, so what I'm going to do, whatever the text that I wanted to type into that, I'm going to provide it over here. Okay, I'm going to, okay, laptop is already there, so let's go for mobiles. So that text has to be in double quotes. So once after I enter the text, what I'm going to do, let me close this and run this so that we can see. So my process started running. It has opened Chrome and it has typed mobile. Okay, so as we are already landing into laptops page, so laptops was already there by default. So let's say if you wanted to delete the text that is already there and wanted to enter the new text, so how you can do that? Here, let's go to the properties tab now, and we can see the option called as empty field, right? Just check this to true, and now let's try it one more time. So what that property actually has to do is, okay, this is not working as expected. Let me do one more thing. Click before typing, and then I'll put this as complete. So what I'm actually doing, I'll explain you after this gets executed. Uh, it's not working as expected. Let me put some delay. Let's go for simulate type. Okay, this has worked as expected now. So what actually I have did it, let me show you by debugging it so that you can understand it clearly. Right, we have landed in the page. After this, let me step into this. Okay, so if you observe the previous laptops, whatever was there, that was deleted and mobiles was added into this. Okay, so what I have actually done, so for this you have to understand the properties very clearly. Okay, this is what properties are there for. So if you observe, initially we couldn't able to do that. It was giving the text immediately after laptop, right? But we have enabled the properties in such a way that we could do this. So what I have done, this is empty field, right? So basically the empty field is used to clear the text before it actually enters something. So that's why I have enabled this as true, but I have already also done wait for ready. So let's talk about wait for ready. Okay, so I have made it complete. So in detail, I'll explain you what all other things, but for now, for making you understand what we've done here, let me talk about this. So this particular action will be waited until, you know, if there is any delay in loading this web page. Okay, so until this web page loads completely, this action will be holding on. Okay, so let's say if you open the browser and if you're trying to type in, but if still the web page is still loading, so you may not able to find the element, right? So in that case you may get the errors. So that's why we have wait for ready as complete. So I will talk about all other three very detailedly in another video, but for now, to make you understand, this is a small gist about it. So I am also doing click before typing so that it will be accurately clicked. And also I have given simulate type as true, so that you know you don't have to go and appear in this page. So it will be worked even though if it is in the background, even though if the process is in the background. Okay, so I will talk about all the properties types very clearly. There are some important things that I have to explain you very clearly about, so in a separate video, but for now as we are concentrating on type into, I hope this is clear for you. So type into is something which is used to type into a particular UI element. And after that, so if you see, even though after typing the mobiles, I'm still in the laptops page only. I'm not directed into the mobiles page. So for that, if you observe, I have to click on a enter, right? So that's an enter button. So now let's see how to pass the hotkeys. So hotkey is something, we have an activity called send hotkey. So hotkey is something which we can, to do to pass the keyboard activity. So enter is a keyboard activity, right? So to do that, we have an option called as send hotkey. So whatever the key that you wanted to send, you can provide in that key. So here I wanted to send the enter key. So I have an enter, so I'll select it, but you have to also indicate it on the element. So for that, we go over here. This is my element, right? And I'm selecting it. So once that is done, let's run this again and check. Okay, step into. Okay, so what's happening? It didn't work, right? So let's see what we can do to get this worked. So again, we have to change the properties. So let's have a click before. We don't need click before typing. Okay, so we don't need all of this. So this should actually work without any issue. We just have to send the enter, right? So let me pass it to this. And and it is working, right? So for this, if you see, we are in the mobiles page. So it is working as expected once after we change the properties. So properties are really very important. So because whenever we are excuse me, whenever we are automating something, it's not just only activities, we have to make sure that the certain property of it is also enabled. So for that, we have used as a send hotkey. So what is the other way of sending the hotkeys? If you know, just try to explore about it, otherwise I'll talk about it in a new video. Okay, so this is it in this video. So we have seen how we can type into and how we can send hotkeys uh, into the application, and we have also explored a little bit about what are wait for ready and the click before typing and empty field, how we can empty the fields and simulate type. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how we can use a particular automation with all the activities that we've learned. I'm going to demonstrate a small activity. So in order to not miss the video, you know the rule, right? You just have to subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for the next video. Thank you so much for watching.